Well, I got another one for you. A little hack for using coat hangers. Our uniform company has a rack that you fill them up. You get your new clean uniforms on hangers. You put them on that rack, and they're supposed to take them. Well, they say they throw them away. So I've been bringing them home. And it's like, okay, let's figure out ways of using these hangers. I've got 3 of them that I can use right away, plus a T-post hanger, and we'll get back with you and show you how to cut the hanger and what to use it for. So let's get started. All right, guys, I've been out of whack here. We've been busy at work and had some health issues I gotta overcome, and still ain't done yet, but we're getting back on it. I know I haven't posted any videos for a while, and I need to get some content back on the channel. So well, I got a coat hanger hack or two to show you. So let's get started. Alright, just a normal coat hanger. We're gonna we got several different items we can make out of this. So the first one will be to take and cut the top, remove the top out of that. That's going to be our tree starter stakes. And if you got a fragile plants or small trees that you're starting, you want to keep the rabbits and deer and stuff from eating them. All they are a hardware cage, and I'll show you what they look like. You just make them out of hardware cloth, and then you got to have a way of staking them down. So the first thing we're going to do is take and straighten the stake part out on my pliers. Maybe I better show you while I'm doing it instead of me doing it. Okay, first thing we do, you just take and cut right where the bend, right before the bend. And it doesn't really have to be exact. You just cut that right there, and that gives us our piece that we're going to work with. Next thing we do is we straighten out that hook. So that's going to be our stake part. I don't know how good this is showing up, but and it don't have to be perfect. A little straighter the better. It goes in the ground sometimes. And just like that. Next thing we do is flip these over, and they'll go just outside of the cage. So you slip this through and then stick it in the ground, and it holds that cage down. And I've had rabbits try and get through them and everything, but they can't move it. So that's what we make for that, and I'll show you how that goes in the cage, because I got a couple of little trees I gotta protect this winter. I got new ones in. So on to the next one. So the next one we got is what they call weed mat, ground cloth, different type of stuff. But they're staples, and you can buy them in the big box stores too. I think it's $3 or $4 a package, but if you got free hangers, it's just as easy to do. What I measured out is a piece of straight hanger, just a section of the bottom or either or. But this measured out 8-inch piece long, and this is actually 12, which gives you a 3.5-inch or a 5.5-inch staple. And that's all you got to do is measure them out and then cut a loop. So I just measured out an 8-inch section, marked it, and that's where we're going to cut it. Take and cut it right there. And all we're going to do is come up and bend. That's about an inch stretch across there, which should give you a pretty even staple. Guess I need to do it in the screen, don't I? Come on. You can get technical with it and actually make all your measurement marks and all that. Like everything I do, I kind of freehand it. So that's a little bit better. But that's what those are for. And you just box a bunch of them up when you're laying your ground mat down. And they actually make a tool that Kevin over on Living Traditions homestead, they bought. It's got a little bar in it with a groove and a magnet. You just stick it up in there and you save your back by just standing up and poking these in the ground. But that's another item you can make with a hanger. The next thing we're going to make is a T-post hanger. And all you got your T-post. This will go around and it clips onto the fence that you're running. Usually welded wire or twisted or pear or whatever it is. But it goes around there, clips on, and you just bend these tabs down and your fence is tight to the post. So let's whittle out one of them. Okay, we measured out 10 inches. I made my first loop bend here. And if you see, it just goes to the outside a little bit when you bend it over. That way when you roll it over the fence line, it will not contact the other one. Then you come up here about middle way. Make your bend. Bend it right there. Still a little long. Well, like I said, you could take and measure your bend points and make them all marked so you're not adjusting it to get it where you want it. Then you run up about an inch and bend her in. Like I said, you bend it over towards the outside. That way when you line up on the fence, it'll just like that. And like I said, we'll go outside and I'll show you how all these get utilized. I'm just kind of trying to stay out of the wind right now. But that's a T-post hanger for fencing. Next thing is just a straight piece of wire. I'm going to cut them about 18 inches roughly. And what we're going to make is a marker flag. Again, for my little tree starters. So if you're mowing or something, you won't be mowing over them. It also works good for setting your berry bushes and stuff like that. So 18 inches. What we're going to do is high visibility duct tape. It's cheap enough, and you can just, you know, when the sun fades them and everything, you just throw another piece of tape on there and away you go. I usually keep this around for marking that and marking fences and stuff that's kind of hidden in the tall grass. In fact, I used my other roll up the other day. And all you're going to do is cut about a 4-inch piece. I know this is a lot of work, simple stuff, but it's stuff that you can keep around here, and it either gets used for its intended purpose or little hack stuff like that. So now you can place that out there in the, and all, like I said, what it is, I'll run my riding mower in between the cage and the flag. I can kind of avoid mowing over my new trees and stuff. So let's go outside and show you how all this stuff works. Okay, first thing was the little stakes. All this is hardware cloth, and you cut a section out of it. I think they were 12 inches, and you just loop it around together, and then the ends you just tie together, and it makes a nice little cage. But I use these for my starter trees. But we take the stake and we just run it down inside there, and it helps lock that dude in place. And that way, you bump it with a mower or you blow grass on it or something, it doesn't really go anywhere. It definitely don't take out the tree, but that locks it in place. Next thing we made was the flag, and I'll use a longer one because that's what we've got here. That gives you a visual indication of where that tree is. And that's all it is. Coat hangers into being useful equipment. And now we'll move on to the next deal, either the weed mat or the T-posts. Let's see what we got. Well, the next thing we got, so remember the T-post hangers. What we'll do, just run it through there. They are a little long. The whole purpose of that is just to twist it over. Come back on itself. These work better for cattle panels and stuff like that. It still works for this too. A little easier with a pair of pliers, but that's it. It locks it in place, and you've used up some more coat hanger. You could do the straight wire, and that's what we did on most of this install, but there you go. Just bend it over and she's secure. Alright, next chore. Alright, last but not least, these weed mat stakes, or staples is what they call them. And this is some old last year stuff, but you just lay that out there and you can actually run the seams together and just poke her through. Like I said, the longer ones will hold a lot better than the shorter ones, but they still hold. Well, the problem with this stuff is it lets enough light transfer through that the weeds will actually grow. And that's what's happened on these. We've figured out from Kevin and Sarah at Living Traditions homestead that they're using another stuff, and that ground cloth looks like it works very good. And anyway, that's what we got here. And they just push in and away they go. Say hi, Gracie. Gracie May. Hey, there you go. All right, good girl.